what are parents doing differently? All through the days where people lived in different kind of settings, and now that people are becoming increasingly more urbanized and all of that, can we say that parenting has changed? And can we make that statement in a sweeping manner for everybody within this country, considering that we don't all live in the same manner or style? In fact, we are told that we have more rural dwellers in this country than we have the urban dwellers, but yet there continues to be very great progression from the rural areas into the urban centers. All of this has culminated in all the traffic jams that we see, parents having to wake up very early in the morning, take their children to school. We know little kids who have to be up by 4 a.m., which is the only way they can beat the traffic. People living at Komtema Community 25, if that's if you're in Accra, Tema area. I'm sure in Kumasi, in Takrady, in Sandema, etc., wherever you live, you might have similar problems. So what is the challenge, or what are the major challenges facing parents? What has changed? How differently are we doing parenting? And what really can we do to make sure that we stem the tide of the things that are going wrong? My guest is Reverend Dr. Peter Ohene-Kyei. He's rector, Pentecost University College. Thank you for coming, sir. Good evening to you.
Thank you.
Let me ask you right from the beginning. I don't know how old you are, but definitely you've been around for some decades.
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us what has happened to parenting generally in Ghana? Is it changing? Are circumstances leading to a change in the style of parenting in Ghana?
Well, certainly parenting is changing, and I would say it has actually changed, and it certainly will continue to change. I have been around, as you said, for some time, but during my time, my days in the early 50s,
okay,
right, you realize that the man is out there working, and that the woman is at home, managing the children. So the man comes home to meet the children and meet the wife. The children close from school, they come and at least they meet their mother, and the father comes home on time.
Okay.
He closes at 5 o'clock, by 5:30 or thereabout, he's in the house. So they spend a lot of time, and they know each other. The parents know the children very, very well. Right. Now, as time moves on, as you've rightly said, urbanization and all its effects on our lives, and, economic conditions are changing. Now, it becomes necessary, therefore, for the woman to also go out there to be working. We leave the children at home. All right, so this is the trend. Now the woman is working, the man is working.
Okay.
You will be surprised to know that they come home very late. Sometimes they come and the children are asleep. All right, so it keeps on changing. So we are spending very little time with the children. And therefore, the ability to actually sit down with the children and make input into their lives is diminishing gradually. And that is very serious so far as for parenting in our country. So certainly the changes are on. And
I see. So many are of the view that it's become a full-time job to be a parent in Ghana these days. But then one is quick to throw in a challenge to that viewpoint. That based on analysis you've given us and your submissions foregoing, we all seem to have a lot of house help phenomenon going on these days. People other than parents of children tend to be the ones rather spending the time with their children. How much of a job then is it? Why is it so much work to do so much these days?
Well, as I've said, economic conditions have changed. You need to spend more time,
right,
all right, at work to be able to manage the home, financially. Another thing, for instance, that, look at the schools. If you really want your child to be well educated,
right,
then you need to pay more. Well, so parents are working more to take care of these issues. So for parents, they are working very hard, spending more time, right, to care for the children. But then the most important thing is not just a matter of just having money to care for the children. Who is actually educating the child in your absence? The televisions, the house helps, they are educating the children. So you'll be spending so much money, but you will realize that the well-being of the child you are spending so much money is different from that of yours. Okay. And that is dangerous, that is serious, you see. So certainly conditions have changed. And so we're working more hours to get more money, to cater for our children, and to do other things. But then, what we are actually working to cater for in the long run, may not be what we want or what we expect, because the most important thing is of making input, specific input, letting the child know your values, your worldview, values, your what you really want to put into the child may not be there because you are not spending time with them.
Is this phenomenon the same everywhere in Ghana for you, or you think that it is a matter for the urban areas?
I think the urban areas, even the rural areas, is also changing.
Okay.
It's also changing. It's not only the urban areas,
okay,
right? You realize that it has caught up with the rural areas, but that is very slow compared to that of the urban areas. For instance, the person is a farmer. Now, you need more money. And in those days, farming used to be just a way of life. You just move in, do some work, you come out, you get a little, you eat with your family, set a little. But now it's an economic activity. So you have to spend more time and make sure that you generate a lot of income to do other things. So certainly it's coming, except that it is very slow in the rural areas more than in the urban centers.
More than in the urban centers. So who is the biggest loser, given the background you've just laid out for us? Is society getting worse off, or that is what our times suggest to us and we must just live with it?
I think we can do something about it. But as you rightly said, the society is the loser. Right. Because you know that if the home is not properly catered for, if the children are not well, trained, it affects the society adversely. Okay. These are the people who are, we are bringing them up to really, impact society.
Right.
In actual fact, to succeed us, everybody is passing. So they will certainly will have a stage to play, a very important role to play. So if they are not well catered for, not brought up well, not trained well, it certainly affects the society. It affects the home. It affects the larger society.
What about those who are arguing that, in fact, they think that the children of today are better because our parents are working harder, parents are paying higher school fees, as you've mentioned, children are being introduced to technology in a manner that I'm sure your time did not exist, and all of that. And so to them, they still get to see their children whenever they can. They get to hang out with them on weekends if they can. Those who can get home early enough get to play with them a bit and all. And for them, it's actually a better situation, because I've heard that viewpoint as well.
That's a definition. What people define what is a better in terms of parenting, in terms of upbringing of children. I mean, it's very serious. You need parenting, as you said. It's a daily affair. It's a continuous affair. It is something that you do in your lifetime because the product is important. The child is paramount. It's central. All right. So, having received such a gift from God, you need to spend time to nurture the child, bring the child up. His thinking, his worldview, the values you are putting into the child. So it's not a matter of paying the money. It's not a matter of getting the child a gadget. Even the gadget that you give into the child may be as dangerous as if he had not had it. What is in there? Okay. So you see, the gadgets will be educating the child. The household will be educating the child. And all those in the televisions, once are on, you come when the parents are not home, they view television, they have all the time at their disposal. So they are being educated from that point. So that is but you as a parent, you brought the child, you gave back to the child. You are supposed to bring this child up because there is something in you, the parent, that you want the child. You know the future for your child. So you need to spend time. You need to really input into the child what you think is best. And then gradually the child turns out. You look back and you are proud of the child you've given birth to because you know that in your absence, this child is going to make a great impact on the society. But if you're unable to do that, then certainly the society loses.